I want us to go back to where these guys were. And I want us to just look at the world through Andrew's perspective and see what lessons we can learn as to how to be soul winners, how to be used by God to bring people to Jesus. Andrew, along with the unnamed disciple, must have been walking right behind Jesus. And he turns around and says, "What do you guys want?" And they said, "Rabbi, where are you staying?" I mean, what they wanted was not to go and look at his house, check out his house, see if it's big, small. That's not what they wanted. What they wanted was to spend some time with him, so they can ask questions and have a discussion and dialogue and really get to the essence. Who are you? Are you the Messiah, the Savior of the world? And so he said, "Come on." And they spent all day with him. And they were satisfied with the answers. And obviously they were changed. The focus now becomes the first thing Andrew did was to go and find his brother, Simon Peter. First thing. And then he says to Simon, "Simon, I found the Messiah. Come." And he brings him to Jesus and introduces him to Christ. In that verse that we look at, verse 41, the first thing Andrew did was to find his brother Simon and tell him, "We've found the Messiah." That is the Christ. And he brought him to Jesus. In that, we find 5 steps that Andrew took that are simple steps that I believe that every one of us in this room can also take to go and get them, those who are lost, and bring them to the Savior. First thing he did was to look around. Second thing he did was to look up. Third thing he did was to look out. The fourth step he took was to look forward. And the fifth step he took was to look after. 5 steps: look around, look up, look out, look forward, look after. And I want to just unpack those 5 steps. Because we're living in a world where if we're not conscious, we're going to so isolate ourselves from the very mission that Jesus made so plain was the Great Commission. He says to go into all the world and preach the gospel to every nation. And if we're not careful, we're going to so disconnect ourselves from people that don't know Christ, that we're so isolated that when we look around us, there's no one in our lives that we can introduce to Christ, because our lives are so socially disconnected from lost people. It is the most dangerous trap that there can ever be for a follower of Jesus. Jesus said that he came to seek and to save that which was lost. Paul tells us in 2 Corinthians 4 and verse 4 that the God of this world, that is small g, Satan, the God of this world, has blinded the minds of people from seeing the glorious light of the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's why lost people, they can't see the gospel unless sighted people help them to see it. Remember, when you were in your state of lostness, you couldn't even see who Jesus was and what he wanted from you. You were blind. And some loving person that cared for you, they started to spend time with you and talk with you, and the rest is history. How can you now, as a sighted person, help someone who's lost? First step you take is to look around.